You ever step off a plane after months on the road, half delirious, dreaming of your own bed, and instantly realize you've just traded one kind of chaos for another? Yeah, that was me. War. Welcome home, right? Cops show up, because of course they do. Officer Rivera looks at me, clothes wrinkled, hair sticking up, still smelling like the inside of a tuk-tuk, and then at Monica. Brooks, self-declared president of the Maple Ridge HOA, and you can tell he's already regretting his career choices. Monica is performing her finest courtroom drama, binder clutched to her chest, spitting code numbers at the poor guy, while 50 feet away sits her shiny silver Mercedes in visitor parking, so rooted in place there are leaves around the tires. That car hasn't moved since the last presidential election, but here she is, ready to cite me for bringing my life home. Officer Rivera does a lap, confirms emergency access isn't blocked, and delivers a weary civil matter. Folks, let's all be adults. Monica puffs up, gives me exactly 1 hour to move my truck, and struts back to her Mercedes like she just won a medal. I'm left standing there, suitcase busted open, rolling her eyes. Apparently, the woman finds people for the color of their flower pots and once threatened a neighbor for wearing the wrong color tie. Maya's warmth is a shock to the system after Monica's hurricane, but as we chat, I notice this older guy, Walt, grinning from his porch like he's seen this all before. Turns out, Walt's been here since the subdivision was built and knows Monica's every move, down to the day she parked her Mercedes in visitor parking and never left. Later, Walt lets me in on a secret. He's got the original HOA rulebook, none of Monica's creative, bureaucratic nightmare, packed with fake presidential vehicle allowances and community vehicle expenses. She's been charging the HOA $850 a month for her Mercedes. For 3 years. That's over. Story. Fines for garden gnomes, chalk drawings, even non-compliant fence colors. But the real smoking gun? Invoices for community maintenance sent to Monica's own address, tree removals, car detailing, all billed straight to the HOA. The hypocrisy is enough to make you sick. By the time the next board meeting rolls around, I'm armed with enough evidence to fill a small claims court. Community standards, all while dodging questions about her magical medical exemption that lets her hog visitor parking for eternity. That's when Maya, cool as ice, stands up and asks Monica to explain her exemption. Silence. Board members squirm. Monica fumbles for paperwork that doesn't exist. Finally, the board secretary admits there's no record of any medical vote. Monica goes pale, claims executive privilege, but the room is done listening. Neighbors start whispering, and Walt, who, by now, is giving me these looks like he's testing me, offers up more documents. Original development contracts, surveyor's reports, even legal authority for the actual owner to step in if HOA corruption is detected. I keep digging, and it just gets worse. Monica's been charging the HOA for everything from legal fees for her divorce to daily lattes at Maya's coffee shop, all under vague community relations expenses. $48,000 missing in 3 years. It's not just incompetence, it's organized theft. Then the twist. An anonymous message invites me to a coffee shop. There I meet Janet, the ex-treasurer Monica ousted for asking too many questions. She hands over records and emails so damning, I nearly spill my coffee. Monica's been funneling HOA money into her personal accounts, fabricating invoices, even using emergency maintenance as a cover to bankroll home improvements. Janet tried to stop her and got railroaded out of her job. Armed with everything, I staged the final play. Using Monica's own amended rules, I reserved visitor parking for a week-long community celebration, balloons, banners, the works. Every morning, Monica's forced to parade 3 blocks in heels while the whole neighborhood watches and cheers. Her retaliation gets more desperate, frivolous fines, noise complaints, anything to claw back control. But Officer Rivera's had enough. He warns her that any more bogus calls will get her cited for harassment. The grand finale hits at my housewarming party. Monica crashes the event, shrieking that I don't belong, then lets slip, on video, in front of half the street, that she knows my exact monthly income. That's a federal privacy violation, and as soon as Officer Rivera hears, he opens a criminal investigation on the spot. The crowd turns, neighbors whispering, cell phones out. Monica, realizing what she's done, tries to walk it back, but it's too late. The next emergency HOA meeting is standing room only. Monica brings every piece of paper she owns, accuses me of destroying community values. But when I start reading her own emails and invoices aloud, it's like watching a dam break. Residents gasp. Maya torpedoes Monica's medical exemption claims with her EMT training. Walt finally steps forward and drops the hammer. He's not just the neighborhood historian. He's the original developer and legal landholder, with the authority to revoke Monica's presidency and evict her for fraud. The look on Monica's face is pure cinematic gold. Within days, Monica is out, stripped of her title, facing criminal charges, her 3-year reign as suburban dictator over in a single afternoon. Walt offers me a job, community relations specialist for all his properties. Maya opens a new cafe next door, funded by recovered HOA money. The Mercedes spot gets a new sign. Community first. People talk about that week for years, the moment when one travel-weary outsider, armed with a binder and a little righteous anger, took down the biggest bully on the block. But if you think Monica Brooks is the worst HOA tyrant out there, think again. Because next week, I got a call from Texas, $5,000 cash, a desperate note, and a file that made even Walt go pale. The story's just getting started. So, you'd think after watching Monica Brooks get kicked out in a blaze of public humiliation, things in Maple Ridge would finally settle down, right? Yeah, you'd think that. But let me tell you, neighborhood drama is like mold. You scrub it out of one corner, and somehow it just pops up somewhere else, nastier and more determined than ever. It was barely 2 weeks after Monica's moving truck rattled out of Maple Ridge, and I'm finally sleeping through the night again. No more frantic HOA emails or late-night calls from neighbors, whispering about new finds. Walt's now technically my boss. Maya's coffee shop is coming together. The visitor parking spot looks almost sacred with its new community first sign, and for the first time, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I can make a life here. But then that Texas envelope lands on my doorstep, and the peace I'd started to trust just evaporates. $5,000 in crisp bills, a stack of grainy photos, and a note scrawled in frantic handwriting. Our president is worse than Monica Brooks. We need help before someone gets hurt. Please call us. You ever get that feeling? When the universe just drops a challenge in your lap and dares you to walk away. Let me back up a sec. The photos are what really get me. They're not staged, not the typical suburban snapshots. These are surveillance style. Garbage piled high in someone's front yard, security cameras pointed at a neighbor's window, angry notes duct-taped to garage doors. The kind of stuff you see on the news when a feud turns ugly. And then, tucked at the bottom, a shot of a terrified dog behind a chain-link fence and a photo of a house with the windows spray-painted, outsider. I look up, heart racing, and Walt's already at my side. He glances at the photos, face going hard in a way I haven't seen before. That's Green Acres Estates, he says, voice low. I knew it would get bad, but I didn't think they'd start paying for outside help. The whole next week is a whirlwind. Walt wants me to fly down immediately. He's got a whole dossier on the HOA president down there, a woman named Candace McMillan, who makes Monica look like amateur hour. Candace isn't just greedy, she's vindictive. She's got friends on the county council, a brother-in-law in code enforcement, and she's not afraid to play dirty. Walt warns me. People have tried to stand up to her before. Most end up fined out of their homes or scared silent. We're not dealing with a garden variety Karen here. Before I leave, Maya surprises me with a going-away care package, snacks for the flight, a thermos of her strongest coffee, and a little note. Don't let the monsters win. Come home safe. She's the kind of friend who senses when you need encouragement. You know what I mean. Landing in Texas, the air hits different, thicker, hotter, and carrying the kind of tension you can feel in your bones. Green Acres looks picture perfect on Zillow. White fences, trimmed hedges, shiny pickup trucks, a classic slice of Americana. But on the ground, the mood is off. You can see it in the way people hurry inside when they spot a stranger. You hear it in the hushed tones neighbors use at the mailboxes. The folks who hired me, let's call them the Rivers family, are classic new money. Bought their house in hopes of a fresh start after moving for a job. Instead, they landed in the crosshairs of Candace's personal reign of terror. I meet them on their porch, the dad shifting Nervously, the mom glancing over her shoulder every few seconds, their daughter clutching a stuffed bear like a lifeline. She's fined us for everything. The mom whispers, voice cracking. Birthday banners, leaving a bike in the yard, not picking up a leaf the second it falls. She even threatened to take our dog. The desperation in her eyes is something I'll never forget. But here's where things get a little twisty. The Rivers aren't the only ones targeted. Over dinner, they share that Candace's HOA has a private Facebook group. Invite only, carefully moderated. If you're not in, you don't know what's happening. If you post the wrong thing, Candace's crew will pay you a visit. They even warned me not to park my rental in front of the house for more than an hour. Last time someone did, they got towed before they finished unloading groceries. She's got eyes everywhere, the dad says, nodding toward the black SUV parked a few houses down. I spend the next 2 days just listening, watching, learning. My travel instincts kick in. Never sit with your back to the window. Always take photos of everything. Double-check every email. Because you never know what'll turn into evidence later. I spot Candace's husband cruising past the Rivers' house 3 times in one afternoon, taking photos out the window. I see neighbors dropping envelopes in Candace's mailbox, cash, checks, sometimes grocery gift cards. Dues, someone whispers. But nobody's seen an actual budget in years. But then, as I'm sipping coffee on the porch late, one night, someone slips a folded note under the door. They're watching. Don't trust anyone. And yeah, that's when I realize just how far down the rabbit hole I've fallen. The next morning, I get a call, unknown number. The voice is shaky, terrified. She's planning something. Board meeting tonight. If you want proof, come to the old clubhouse at midnight. Alone. I tell the Rivers. And the dad's face goes white. Nobody's used that building in years. That's where the last board president disappeared. Disappeared. Not resigned, disappeared. I feel my stomach drop. Midnight rolls around, and I park a block away, hiking through dark streets under those buzzing Texas streetlights. My heart's pounding in my ears. I step into the abandoned clubhouse and find a flash drive taped under the table. There's no note, no person, just the drive. When I get back and open it, what I find makes Monica's scam look like lemonade stand theft. Dozens of scanned documents, faked HOA ballots, rigged election results, emails between Candace and her brother-in-law at the tow yard, plans for a community enhancement project that's just a front for moving HOA money into her private business. There are even audio files, recordings of Candace threatening to have residents' kids kicked out of local sports leagues if their parents cause trouble. By sunrise, I know what I'm up against. This isn't just fines and parking complaints. This is an entire ecosystem of fear and corruption, propped up by family ties and dirty money. But you know what? I feel alive. All those months traveling, learning how to read people, how to survive on instinct, they were training for this. So, what do you do when you find yourself in a community run by a dictator who thinks she's untouchable? Do you keep your head down, pay the bribes, hope you're never next? Or do you fight back, knowing you might lose? I grab my phone, take a deep breath, and start typing. Walt's number. You were right. It's bad. But I've got evidence, lots of it. What's the next move? He texts back in under a minute. Get ready. This is bigger than either of us. See you at the meeting. And that, my friend, is where this next chapter really starts. Have you ever had to go up against someone with all the power and none of the conscience? What would you risk to bring down a bully, especially if it meant risking everything? Drop your stories and advice in the comments, because I've got a feeling I'm going to need all the help I can get. And if you thought Monica Brooks was a nightmare, just wait. The bigger the HOA, the darker the secrets. Catch you in the next one, where justice isn't just served. It's hunted down, no matter where it hides.